your boy Boss Cowboy Sports, and we bringing you
another one.
Yeah, because that big choke. Ooh, by feeling, you open up some doors. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, we get to talk about it today. We go dissect the tea leaves of what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys, and we go bring to you some Boss Cowboy perspective, because that's what we do. And it's looking real good as we head into these playoffs. So we gonna talk about that choke by Philly, because it was a great choke. It was greater than any choke that they could have ever wished upon us. Suckers lost to the Saints, man. So it's not even about just winning the division, man. Thank you, Philly, for being just weak, for being exactly what you are, weak. So we gonna be talking about today a hot Dallas Cowboys finish versus low finish. Is it one? Is it the other? Is it both? What is the course? How are things better? Because it's way better. And we gonna bring it to you here at Boss Cowboy Sports, man. So y'all just sit back, relax. We gonna open up the phone lines. We go freestyle.
Another one.
Be right back, man. Let me build this plan. Let's go. Let's go. My boy DA, he say in the building. What's up, man? Hold on, man. Let me get that intro right. I ain't doing it right. We'll do it again. We'll do it again, man. We're gonna get that intro all the way right. Get it all the way right. Let's go. Get that intro right, man. Yeah, I want it like that. Yeah, man. Welcome to Boss Cowboy Sports, where your voice matter. So we got set up, man. My boy DA Lee, he came. He coming through. D-Lay, I can't wait till you get in the game, bro. I already know you coming, bro. I can't wait, because I've been seeing you in the streets, man, and I love the independent work that you're doing, bro. I love it. I love how you put in that work on Twitter, bro. I see you. I love it when boys and girls, when they come out and they have the initiative to put their voice out there. And D, you doing a good job. See, because D.A. Lee, I just want to commend D.A. Lee real quick. It's not just him sharing content and doing stuff like that, because that obviously helped, but it's also he doing his own work.
Yoga fire.
So he'll do his own breakdowns and he'll post it and spread the word, man. So just to see my brothers active and my sisters active on making their voice matter, it's just always good to see.
Dracarys.
So before I get started with this content, let me say what's up, man. I see oozing toxicity as Marcus Hardison. What's going on? Will, Nico, D.A. Lee, Walter Banks, Daisy, Pale Moon, Cowboys fan 95, Michael Lockhart, Aaron, Mr. Dave Walker Vaughn, the former receiver, Sin City, bringing the heat queen. She said, what up, boss? Pale Moon say the biggest boss we've seen thus far. Don't do it, bro. I'm gonna give you some boss buttons. I'm gonna give me some boss buttons for sure, man. So nah, man, let's get into it and then we gonna open up the phones. Because obviously that choke by Philly just opened us all the way up. And it truly was a choke. Because based on where we were sitting, you know, a lot of people thought that Philly was gonna run away at the end. I'm gonna be honest, it was one person who didn't fall for it, was bold enough to say it early. It was my boy OC. My boy OC was very early coming out. I want to just commend the homie, especially when you bold, because he came out. And he did a video today also where he talked about the Eagles choke set up the Dallas Cowboys for the best close. So I'm gonna talk about that also from a different angle, because it definitely set us up for a good closeout. And we gonna talk about why. But mine is a little bit different because I'm looking at it from a load management standpoint. I'm looking at the patterns of not just us, but teams that's going into the playoffs battling. Teams that's usually coming into the playoffs kind of taking it easy, taking it off, taking their foot off the gas, they get passed up. Just think about it, right? Just think about it. Who was the hot team last year? Who was the team that was fighting for their life last year just to get in?
Dracarys.
I ain't gonna even ask. I ain't gonna ask. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna wait. I ain't gonna be in no rush. I'm gonna sit back. Who was the team last year that was fighting to get in that became dangerous? I don't see no answers. My boy Sin City say Philly. I would say no on Philly last year because remember, Philly was cowards last year. They sat all their starters against us last year. Remember that? We was in week 18, and we was still fighting for a better seed. So we played our starters. San Fran, yes, and the Bengals. Like so, it's the teams that was fighting for their life. Those are the dangerous teams. The Rams too. Those are the dangerous teams. So that choke by Philly put us in a position to where we also have to fight to the end. And if you look at us and you look at what we doing right now because of that great choke, and I mean it was great. They are losing momentum as we are building momentum. Yes, they are losing momentum as we are building momentum. And the fact that we have to fight all the way to the end is putting us in a much better place, period. Because I'm happy that they lost. Not even about just winning the division. I'm happy they lost because that means all of us got to fight. But who has more momentum in the division going in? It's us. It's the Dallas Cowboys. We knocked out Philly. We won a hard game versus the Tennessee Titans. And when you look at Sunday, don't that make you feel a little bit better? Don't that make you feel a little bit better when you look at the performances that happened at the end of the season? Because a lot of us coming out of Tennessee, we had a bad taste in our mouth. Let's be honest. That win did feel womp. But then when you look after Sunday, you know what you say? You know what? It wasn't as bad, was it? When you looked at the fact So when you look at the fact that a lot of teams didn't play that good, and a lot of teams are tired. Because Philly wasn't the only team that was exhausted from that big game. I mean, Dallas wasn't. Philly, you could tell they also had some issues with their offensive line. Did they or did they not? Did we all see the same thing? Because, I can say I saw Philly offensive line struggled just as our offensive line struggled versus Tennessee. But then you got to ask the question, which team has more rest right now?
Claim.
Dallas.
Yoga. Fire.
Dracarys.
Because I was hearing the load management talk, and it was really, really, really starting to get to me. It was really, really. Matter of fact, before I get too heavy into that, let me take some calls first. Let's get the phones going. Let's get that going first. Let's get on the phones before I start getting too heavy into my content. Let's talk. All right. So we gonna open up the phone lines, man. You don't have to particularly talk about this subject I'm talking about. It's a freestyle, so that means you get to talk about what you want, and I'll adapt to you. But then I'm gonna get right back on this content, because to me this is super important when you look at how great that choke helped us. Boss Cowboy Sports.
Boss, what's going on, my buddy?
What's up, Coach? Give it to us. Give us the gospel.
Man, I'm back at the first call again, man. I saw your number on the last show, and I didn't see the show. I saw the tape of the show, and I said, let me put that new number in my speed dial, so when I call in on it. But listen, man,
Yeah.
you're so right, man.
Yeah.
Philly is going through that long win streak.
Yep.
Teams do this, man. You go through that long that grind early in the season, winning all those games. That has happened so many times in the NFL, and now you on your downtrodden. You going through your bad part of your season at the wrong time, because teams are playing much tougher, and you getting little injuries. You get tired of trying to keep that streak going. It's hard in the NFL to have long winning streaks, and the other team in this mix, San Francisco, is on a 9-game winning streak, boss. You know how hard it is going to be to win 5 more the game this week and 4 more games, to go on like a 13, 14-game winning streak with a backup quarterback and not have a hiccup here and there. And now when you have a hiccup at the wrong time and don't play well, you could be going home. See, we are in the perfect situation.
Perfect.
Because we got losses here and there, but we don't have back-to-back losses this year. After a loss, we come back and win 2, 3, 4 in a row. Mm-hmm. So we are in a prime situation to put a 5 or 6 game winning streak together and be in the Super Bowl. See, this is where you have to go through the season sometimes and understand that you rather have some hiccups early on or in the mid-season and be able to correct them quickly. But you got to have those things so you know what you have to be able to correct, and you don't get too overconfident in yourself. And because it's hard it's almost like a gambler. You're on a hot streak, but eventually you're going to cool off somewhere.
Yeah. And
you don't want to cool off at this particular time, because now it's all, you got to roll 7 or 11. You roll craps now, you done.
You done.
It's over with. You bust.
Right.
So you gotta have some staying power, and you gotta have some time to play well. And listen, it's a kind of that rest, here and there. But let me tell you where the NFL people who thought they was hurting us, but where they may have helped us. See, we are one of the only teams in this mix that got a 10-day period between the 16th game and the 17th game. So we got an extra 3 or 4 days of rest, where the other teams had playing on Sunday and they may have to play the first week. So that 3 or 4 days is going to serve us well without maybe not having a bye.
Yeah.
Going to serve us well going into this game.
Right.
And the other thing that we got that other teams don't have, we have shown that I'm going with the mantra of the Dallas Cowboys this year, and I believe that. We have shown that we got resilience to be able to play through injuries.
Right.
See, we were playing without a starting tackle. We had to convert a first-round pick into a tackle. We forget that we have had Terrence Steele has went down. We forget that we have had injuries with our third corner, with our second corner. We have and we have a resilience where we did that last year with the defense. We had injuries. So this team knows how to play, and bigger than everything else, Dak Prescott been down. Ezekiel Elliott has missed 2 games. Tony Pollard has missed a game. We have shown resiliency of being able to play with injured players, so this is nothing new to us. And it's not one of those things that's going to be shocking to us to say we have to go in there and play without a guy. And that's different for this Cowboy team. And no one else has that. Now, San Francisco got it because they had lost their quarterback and they'll have some injuries with Debo. But, again, 9 games in a row, it's hard to keep that pace going into the playoffs when you got that many games. Because now you think about it, they're going to be 12, 13, 14, and 0. That's going to be hard to do, boss. So this is where we set ourselves up. There's no need to rest nobody in the watch the game.
Nope.
Don't play football scared.
Nope.
Go out and have a physical football game. And listen, I don't care where we fall in the seedings because of the fact we just got to get that first playoff victory. That's all. That's going to be our run. The only game that I'm going to be very concerned about is playoff game 1.
Yeah.
If you get that, it's like in a drive, boss. When you go on a 2-minute drive, or you're going in any type of drive.
Yeah.
First down, and that first down.
Yeah.
When you get that first down,
yeah,
everything starts to roll. This is where Cowboys have to be focused on getting that first victory. And I don't care if it's against Aaron Rodgers. I don't care if it's against Tom Brady. This is the time of the year where you have to buckle down and get to that point. And Washington is a good physical team and a good rivalry game. And I love that these last 2 games have been on the road.
Right.
So we're getting adjusted of being road warriors.
Right.
So everything is setting up for the Cowboys.
It is setting
to
up.
be successful.
Yes.
But we just have to keep the mindset up. And we got to be like a chain of 52. The chain we need to get a chain that's about 70 links long. And when we get that chain, and after this last game, that chain is 70 links long, and we need to take both ends of that chain and get a big master lock. And lock both of those ends in and say we're going to be locked in for a 3 to 4 week period. And we're going to be locked in. We worry about all this, the media attention, worry about all this, and lock in and put out, because it's going to be one of the hardest things we're going to do, that this team is going to do. But we have the talent enough, and the injuries, we just have to play through the injuries and be smart and be able to put our players in the right positions to be good. And I want to say one last thing, boss. I put a thing out there, and I want to kill something, right? I want to kill a narrative that I've been hearing. And that narrative is that killing makes that.
What?
And listen, and this is why the narrative is always they're always talking about Kellen gonna get a job and how good he's an offensive coordinator and all that. This is the only team you have a high-powered quarterback that the offensive coordinator gets so much credit for his play calls. But you know something? In actual fact, Dak makes Kellen. Because without Dak, Kellen is pedestrian.
Oh yeah, man.
So this is where
you hear that, Coach? Coach, where you hear that?
No, this is what I'm saying.
Name names.
This is why. Hold on. This is what I'm saying. I just figure out the narrative. This is where I figure the narrative out, boss. This is why so many people defend Kellen. See, this is why. It ain't about they defend Kellen because they think he's a bull. They feel that he is the sole reason for them having the number one offense or having number one stats. But the actual fact, the guy that they giving all the beef about, the guy that they are ripping and killing in the media for every little thing, is the one that is the straw that stirred the drink that makes Kellen who he is. Without that, Kellen will never have been as successful as he's been without having a quarterback like Dak Prescott.
Oh yeah, whoever's saying opposite, honestly don't know what they're talking about. Like, real talk. Like, you absolutely do not know what you're talking about. Whoever said that, I wish you called them out. I really do.
No, I'm not listening.
Because I'm doing that this week, Coach. This week, I'm going after narratives from the sources, and y'all gonna know who the sources are. I'm going right at them. I'm not holding back.
This is the thing. This thing, boss. And me and you like to read between. We like to read between the lines. And nobody's saying that Kellen makes Dak. But why would you rip? Why is all people always ripping the quarterback for every little mistake? And they never say anything about the offensive coordinator, or they say it in general, and they back off of it.
Oh, I got you.
Because of the fact, it's always about that if you have a problem, it's always on Dak. But in actual fact, Dak gets us out of a lot of stuff bad situations that we're put in, and he makes it better.
Yeah, I'm with you on them. Let me move on off that, Coach, because that's gonna get me. Different topic.
Yeah.
But
you're right about the boss. I want to tell you, you're right about the position that we in, and I think we just need to keep. We need to lock in.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be okay because fighting for a playoff berth is good, and we're in a position that we just starting our next big run in vigorous, and everybody else is either faltering or or maybe at the end of their run of their streaks.
Right. Well,
great job, boss. I'm gonna be listening to you, brother.
All right, I got it. So I got you, Coach. I appreciate the call, Coach.
All right.
All right. So I got a couple of new buttons. Let me test these buttons for what he just talked about. Let me try this.
I sign my own fix. Better stay in your lane, your little bitty broke ass.
Yeah. That's why all them cats that still out there caping for killing.
Birds of a feather. They flock together, they make you a sucker.
Yup, birds of a feather. They flock together, that make you a sucker. One more time.
Birds of a feather. They flock together, they make you a sucker.
Man, if you're on that killing train, you are a sucker. Now, some people, cause see, the killing dilemma is hard to see. It's not easy to see. I would put it like this: you a sucker if you've been on this channel for at least 2 months. At least 2 months. If you're new to this channel, you might not see what we see. And I understand that. And I'm going to give you a break. Because sometimes it's hard to see because you get the number one offense with Dak, and a lot of people equate that to Kellen, but you got to be able to look a lot deeper than that. You got to be able to look at the trends. You got to be able to also look at what they said out their own mouths and all that kind of stuff. And then you put it together. Say, I already put it together. I've been putting this together for months. So this, and for people on this channel, it's not new to them. They already know. They already all the way caught up on that. But going back, because the idea with Kellen later, I don't want to get too heavy on Kellen right now. We still got our own business to handle. We're going to talk about that. We're going to open back up the phone lines in a second, though. But we still got our own business to handle And the good thing about that choke from Philly is it made us have to handle our business. So what I want to do is I'm going to talk about a couple of different subjects, okay? I'm going to talk about a couple of different subjects to me on why it's important to have this discussion on a hot Dallas Cowboys finish versus load management. Because I'm going to be honest, when you go look at our history, you'll see that I'm going to finish with this, but I'm going to come back to this. All right, hold on real quick. Let me take the super chat real quick. Give me a second. Let me take the super chat real quick from Philip Henderson. And Philip Henderson said, I hope our boss are planning to sit Noah Brown and turn T.Y. a loose Y. Most of these defensive corners can't run with him. He will open up our attack, but I'm concerned about us looking beat up. That's a very good super chat, first of all, Mr. Henderson. And second of all, be looking out for the OC. He got a video coming out that's going to be real in depth about the secret weapon of T.Y. Hilton. I don't want to give it away too much, but it's one thing that, because we already talked about it on the phone a little bit. This is one he gave me a sneak peek on, but I loved it. It's one thing about T.Y. I don't mean to get off, but I'm going to just get off just a little bit. It's one thing about T.Y. that also makes him so great right now. It's the fact that nobody has film on him going into the playoffs. He's, for the most part, been load managed going into the playoffs. So he gives us an extra element of surprise. I know my button's loud. I'll fix that after the show. Appreciate y'all. And my boss say, don't tell the secrets, boss. Listen, it's nothing I could tell, bro. Because it's no way to know what they go do with him. Right? It's no way to know how they go really use him. So even if I said that, even if you anticipated they go come out with him as their, number 2 receiver, obviously, that's why he's here. You still don't know. So he's the sneaker. Okay, put it like this. Just imagine teams not expecting Amari Cooper when he broke out in 2018.
Another one.
What kind of advantage is that going into the playoffs? So, it's so much that's looking good. And and I do get it. It's a lot of us that's been scoring over the last 27 years, And let's talk about a couple of these years, because the most important thing I was going to talk about is the path of most resistance probably need to be our way. I'm going to say that again. The path of most resistance likely need to be our way. The path of most resistance, not the path of least resistance. So like Coach Marv said, where you actually face your nemesis early. Like who? Aaron Rodgers. Get them out. The path of most resistance is the resistance that we need this year. And I'm going to talk about that last, because that's the biggest point I'm going to make. The path of most resistance. I'm going to give you, I ain't going to give you the clue yet, but stay. That's going to be the last point I make. I'm going to come back to that one. But this is why we're talking about load management versus going in hot and being thankful that Philly choked the way that they did. So in 2016, remember, we was the top seed. We was the number 1 seed with Dak coming in as a rookie. We set everybody by week 17. Dak only played a series, right? We had a bye, and guess who we was facing in 2016? Everybody know, because we know the outcome. We end up going against who? A hot Green Bay. And remember, we did super load management. We sat everybody. And Romo played, but even Romo didn't get a lot of reps. They even load managed him. He got him a series. He drove them downfield, and they even put him put him on the shelf, and then came out with Sanchez. And we know what happened. We went against a hot Green Bay, because Green Bay then is just like Green Bay now, except this time we are not load managing in week 18. Yes, B Bird. I think this is the best way to say it. Right here. Easy makes us soft. Let's see, B Bird, I don't want to go back to my final point, but you're pushing me there. Listen, if you've been watching us this year, it's the path of the most resistance to where we do our best in 2022. I'm going to go ahead and give it away a little bit. Everybody thought the season was over after Tampa when Dak broke his thumb. The path of most resistance was to have a backup go against the 2 Super Bowl teams and expect him to win. What happened? Where did Dallas play its best? The path of most resistance. It wasn't the path of least resistance. The path of most resistance is where the Dallas Cowboys, especially in 2022, that's where we do our thing. Going on roads. Let's talk about it some more. So obviously we know what happened with Cooper Rush, with the Rams and the Bengals. We know that happened, but it didn't stop, right? We embarrassed ourselves when we went against a team of minimum resistance. At first, it was who? Green Bay. The path of least resistance, to be Bird point, what? Made us soft. Everybody expected us to beat Green Bay. We expected to beat Green Bay. Diana said, Happy New Year, boss. Thank you. Happy New Year to you and everybody else. But it made us soft. Wasn't we soft? We was soft, to be Bird point. But then we ran up on an 8-1 team. Minnesota. Had to go to their house. What happened? The path of most resistance. And in the path of most resistance, I'm gonna come back to that. Let's get, because I'm trying to make the case on going in hot versus load management. So 2016 was heavy load management, and we paid for it. One of the best years to me was 2018. 2018 was a mix of load management and hot finish. It was a balance. So if y'all don't remember, let's talk about it just a little bit. All right, let's just talk about it just a little bit. So in 2018, going into week 17, remember, we was 10-6. Okay. And that's when we was going to play in New York. Right? Dak was trying to get paid. If y'all remember, he was on the 3rd year of his contract, and people was having doubts on, was he worthy of his money? If I remember that like it was yesterday. And it was a mix of load management, because if you remember, they sat Zeke, and remember, they called it a coach's decision. They also sat Zach Martin. They also sat Tyron Smith. They also sat Fredericks. And they sent Dak out there with a backup offensive line, trying to get paid with a backup offensive line. Thank God the Dallas Cowboys was a little bit weird with that, because Dak killed the Giants that game. And this is the thing about when we went against the Giants that game. It was a crazy good game. If y'all remember, do y'all remember that Dak had to beat them on a 4th and 15? A last play of the game. which was supposedly a what? Meaningless game. Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember that? And thank God, for whatever reasons, the Joneses decided that they was gonna put their franchise quarterback in harm's risk. They did that crazy, man. That was, to this day, I don't know why they did that. That was. But Dak handled it. He threw for 366 yards, 4 touchdowns. Blake Jarwin had a breakout tight end game, boosted the hell out of his confidence. I think that was the game that Blake had 4 touchdowns. It was something crazy. And Dak had that game-winning throw. And guess who we had to face next? If y'all remember, y'all should remember this. Y'all Cowboys historian. It was Seattle. And then, remember, Russell Wilson was not womp like he is right now. Those were the days where Russell Wilson was considered MVP candidate. Yeah. And Dak went in there as the underdog with Dallas and handled up. But why? Why? What happened? I'm going to give y'all my opinion. Dak was hot going into Seattle because he had to play week 17. So he was already geared up. He was already in his bag. So to me, the hot finish when even Dak didn't need, y'all should see where I'm going. When Dak didn't even need to play, the fact that he played in a meaningless game led to the momentum that knocked off Seattle. But that was a mix of load management and a hot finish. So then the other playoff, and you remember, the only reason, in my opinion, that we got knocked off by the Rams is because we was super injured at defensive tackle. And they just went at our weakness. Good job by the Rams, scouting us, knowing we was weak. And they literally abandoned what got them to that point. The Rams at that point was a heavy passing team at that point. But when they looked at the scouting report and saw how banged up we was, they ran the ball on us and until we stopped it, and we never stopped it, so they ran away with the game. But Dak had a fantastic game. Like it's a lot of people, they speak in foolishness and ignorance, and they say Dak, he only won 1 game out of 4. But if you go look at all 4 games, he played great in 3. He played average in the San Fran game. But he played great versus Green Bay. It's nothing. He had a higher passing rating than Aaron Rodgers when we lost in 2016. He had a better passing ratios and more touchdowns than Goff and yards when we lost to the Rams. Obviously, he outdueled Russell Wilson because he walked into that game hot. So the only really bad game that Dak ever had in the playoffs was San Fran. That's the only game. And I wouldn't even call it a bad game. I just call it an average game. He wasn't Dak that we used to, where Dak would burn your face off. But then, looking at 2021, it was a mix of load management. I wouldn't quite call it a hot finish because we was bullying a weak division then. We was bullying a weak division. And bullying a weak division, I think that's why we came out and like B-Bird say, soft. Because we had the division locked up early, and we was only fighting for a seed. It wasn't a real dog fight because we was going against Philly backups. So did that really prepare us for the war to come in the playoffs, which ended up being San Fran? Was we truly prepared for the boombox that happened? Nah, we was soft. It was because, in my opinion, we didn't walk into the 2021 playoffs with skins on the wall. We didn't. But as of now, we walking into right now the playoffs with some pretty good skins on the wall, especially the fact that we knocked off Philly late in the season in a dog fight. Those were very, very important skins as we preparing for the playoffs. Very, very important skins. Even the game against Tennessee, which a lot of us would say was ugly. We'll say that game was ugly. But when you really think about all the difficulties that they went through in that game, it wasn't as bad as when you really break that game down. When you really break down that was the third game in 12 days, 4 days to prepare. Coming off a very emotionally draining fight against Philly. Legs tired, mentally tired. And Tennessee had a lot of time to prepare for us versus we had little time to prepare for them. When you look at it in its total, we actually played okay given the circumstances. So put it like this, that Dallas Cowboy team was the type of team that could just walk out there, not scout you, and still beat you. Yeah, walked out because they didn't know that quarterback was coming. Did they know he was coming? How do you prepare for what you've never seen? How do you prepare for what you've never seen? You've never seen it. So if you've never seen it, there's no way you're gonna be prepared for OC. Did I hear the OC come in the building?
Salute.
I knew I heard you come in the building. Yeah, bro. So I'm just giving my takes right now on how we sitting going into the playoffs, and I was basically breaking down the difference between us having bad years, in my opinion, being too obsessed with being safe and load management versus playing aggressive and being physical to go into the playoffs hot. Since you jumping in, what's your thoughts on that, OC?
Yeah, so I got some content coming about that very thing in detail, breaking down teams and possible opponents, right? So you guys want to check in with the channel the next couple days, and you guys will get some of that content about the question that Boss Cowboy just asked me now. But I'm gonna give you some fodder here. You know, I always say, and I tweeted this yesterday, the hot teams win Super Bowls.
Yep.
The teams that have momentum going into the playoffs are the teams that tend to do well. So rest is overrated.
Right. Wait, can I clap it
rest
up?
Is
Wait, I gotta clap it up, bro.
Another one.
Go ahead.
Yeah, rest is overrated, man, because you've been playing ball since July. We're in January. Your body, it has something called adaptation. So your body is used to this. Your body is used to the grind. Now, if you're injured, yes, you need to take care of your injuries. You need to do your rehab. You need to do your weekly lifts, right? You need to do your weekly runs. But if you're taking care of that business and you're not staying up to 3 o'clock in the morning, man, you're going to be okay. So that's overrated. You need to be sharp. The key in terms of this part of the season is execution. It's the team that's the sharpest and the team that makes the least mistakes. Those are the teams that go far. And the Cowboys need this game to do what I just said right here. So that's what I think.
Yeah. Because, see, let me give you a comment. You're getting just a little bit of pushback from Ali. He said, rest
all right, talk to me, Ali.
Tripping. He said, Cowboys are hot already.
Yeah, but hot and cold is the difference between a week or 2 weeks. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Hot team. Had only lost one game. Had an injury, right? Say whatever you will about whatever else. Nothing really changed outside of Lane Johnson not playing this week, right? And that definitely hurt them. But They had what? Momentum. They lost to the Cowboys. Then they lost to a team that played them super hard, the Saints. Now they have a 2-game losing streak. So to your comment, Ali, when you get to the playoffs, it only takes a 1-game losing streak, and then you're watching from the stands. So what I will say is that momentum is something that has to be guarded.
Yeah. And see, and since you're talking about that, obviously a lot of people are talking about Philly getting ready to prepare and play the Giants. But I think we got to be just as watchful going against Washington. Like Washington, and I'm just being honest, Washington give me Denver vibes. Right here at the end, too. And what you mean by Denver vibes, boss? What I mean by Denver vibes is Denver wasn't a better team, but they had a lot of good talent on that team. A lot of former first rounders like Bridgewater at the time. They had that running back Gordon at the time. Like, they had a lot of people with good resumes, and that's the same thing low-key Washington has. And so people think the Giants go play Philly hard. If you think Washington not getting ready to play us hard, man, I need some of that good old crack you smoking.
Yeah, well, quiet as it's kept, and this happened in part because of some of the offensive play calls, is they dominated our offensive line at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see this game. They kicked our butt at the line of scrimmage.
Right.
And I said this is the dress rehearsal. This is the game that the offensive line, in my opinion, more than any other group, the offensive line needs to show what it's all about, and it needs to show the attitude that they're going to have going into the playoffs, because quintessentially, to your point, you're playing against 4 first-rounders.
Right.
You're playing against Payne, Pro Bowler, should be a Pro Bowl. I don't think he made the Pro Bowl. You're playing against Josh Allen. You're playing against Chase Young, right?
Yeah.
Who else are you playing against? You're playing against other defensive men. I forget his name. So you're playing against a really good physical front, and you got to come out here and establish that we are the boss, because this is practice for what you're going to have to do at certain points in the game if you're going to win some of these games versus some of these good teams that are coming out of the NFC, man. You're going to have to line up and be a bully and show that we're going to run this football. And so that's what I'm saying. And so to your point, no, this game is important. And that's why I would not rest anybody. We need to win this game. We'll rest you in the second half if it's a blowout. Come out here, take care of business, blow out this team if you want some rest.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to blow them out. And the last time we played them, we struggled greatly running the ball. We had 30 attempts, but we ain't get nothing in that middle. They whooped us from the middle all the way to the edge. It was no space at all. It was None. Space at all. I mean, you can say what you're talking to you. I'm just saying, period, man. People can say what they want to, but they have built themselves to counter us. Like, I'm not sleeping on this team at all. This go mess around and be a game just like 2018 going against the Giants. People weren't expecting the Giants to come out and play us like they did. They had no reason to play us like they played us in 2018, did they, OC? They had no reason.
None. And that's the danger. When you're playing with teams that have nothing to lose, this is their Super Bowl. They don't have to save any plays. They don't have to save any blitzes. They ain't got to save no tricks in the bag. They going to unload the clip on you, right? And this is a division rival, and you're playing against America's team still, the Dallas Cowboys. And so what's the best way to get yourself a contract? Play good against the Cowboys.
Right.
What's the best way to get extended? Play good against the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a marketing barometer and a litmus test for players and coaches alike. And when you show up on the big stage with everybody watching versus the Cowboys, that helps you. So I'm telling you, this is not going to be a walk in the park. Now, offensively, I don't think they have the weapons and tools to beat us, but I think they got enough moxie. I think they got enough moxie, and they got some playmakers, and they got a Carson Wentz that's playing for his career.
Yeah, and I do think
you do
the weapons. Yeah, man.
Okay, explain. Dawson
Terry,
is nice.
Terry, the other receiver, man,
Terry, he
they got three good receivers, bro. To me, they problem is at quarterback. And see, I always fear people like Wentz, cause he'll be just boo boo trash, and like you say, when he could be almost like Anthony Brown was for years, to where
businessman.
where you show up in that last game because you trying to get one more sucker to bet on you. You know what I mean? Because he still was a
Yeah.
top two guy. Now, obviously, everybody in common sense to say that he's washed, but the danger is still there. It's just that's
Yeah,
just
the
how I see it.
No, the danger's there, Boss Cowboy. But when you talk about it, man, they got some pieces, but they don't have enough pieces to where they should run it up on us. But again, this is a defense that hadn't played extremely disciplined in the secondary and on the back end, and we hadn't got just a ton of sacks. We had some pressures, but the last couple of weeks we haven't had some sacks. But you know what we say, pressure busts pipes. And so I think if we're able to apply appropriate pressure to Carson Wentz, it's going to bust those pipes for him. But again, the game has to be played, to your point, and we got to go out here and we got to show it, right? We can't talk about it. You got to actually go and do it.
Right. Another thing too, guys wasn't there last time. That's there this time. Chase Young, you know what I'm saying? So,
True.
and we having some issues with that offensive line. I mean, they say
Yeah.
Tyler Biadasz is not gonna be back until the playoffs at best. So we walking into that game reshuffling. Like, you know, this to me, this ain't one to sleep on, bro. When you reshuffling the line right here at the end, that's risky, bro.
Yeah.
That's risky,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, and
Yeah.
this, like,
Yeah.
so we not walking in with a full, healthy steel, right? We don't have T. Smith that been playing left tackle the whole season. Man, we got musical chairs going against a super front.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm gonna give you my good and bad of that, man. At the end of the day, I think that Connor McGovern is a stronger center at the point of attack. He's physically stronger than Biadasz. Biadasz is more athletic, right? He can pull around the horn and get and reach block and make some athletic plays from that center position. But I think for this particular game, you know, and I'm not betting on him either way, but I'm saying I think it helps us a little bit having Connor at center because he's physically stronger. The move that I don't like, that I really got an issue with, I do not like the move with Tyler Smith bumping inside. Man, I don't like that move. I don't like it. I think you need to have strength on strength, youth on youth. I like Jason Peters because of his age and because of the limitations of his lateral movement. Not that he can't move side to side, but he's not what he used to be. I think he's better fighting in a phone booth than on the street corner. And I would love to see Jason Peters battle pain and come off the ball and get some movement versus those interior younger guys that have to battle Chase Young out there. You know?
Yeah,
So I
bro.
really think that I really think that is something that we're going to have to really look at. Now, as it relates to Tyron Smith, I think he should be okay over there. I think that Zach Martin, again, Payne, and Josh Allen was giving him a handful. They was giving him a handful over there. So he's going to have to come ready to play, man. And these guys will have to be sharp. But I hope that change really works out because I don't really agree with that. I think that really Jason Peters should play inside, and you should leave Tyler Smith where he is. But we go see how it works out in this game.
Oh, okay, we did. Yeah, DeShannon left us a super chat. It didn't pop up, but it popped up on my phone. So appreciate it, man. I appreciate the super chat. He said, "Boss, we need to
Thank you,
knock
brother.
out our demons by beating Brady and anyone." Hold on, real quick. I just lost it. Give me a second. Okay, then M just sent one. He said, "Boss, we need to knock out our demons by beating Brady, Rodgers, and anyone that's left standing. A true path of resistance. Happy New Year to you, boss, and the OC." I absolutely agree, bro. DeShannon. I absolutely agree. That's why we gonna talk about this next. We gonna talk about this. The 2022, the path of most resistance is the way, in my opinion. We gonna talk about that. I want to get your thoughts on that too. Amp also sent a super chat. Let me, the homie Amp. So Amp said, that boy said, I will lift up mine eyes into first place from whence cometh my help. I know, right? I know. I know. Common sense do say that he gonna likely choke, but you know, I would hate for him to catch fire on week 18 and we ain't see it coming. Uh, but no, yeah, and appreciate the super chat too, Shannon. But one thing that I want to talk about too, and go back and forth with you, OC. I was bringing up earlier the 2022 has proven to me that the path of most resistance is the Cowboys' way. So when you look at the fact that we had a lot of resistance on the front end of the season with Cooper Rush, who had to play the two previous Super Bowl teams, we knocked them off. The path of most resistance was to go to Minnesota after losing to Green Bay, and we embarrassed them. The path of most resistance was playing Philly while they was burning hot, and we knocked them out. So that's telling me, especially when you look at our record this year versus winning teams, to me, it's almost like I would prefer Philly to go ahead and win the division and keep us hungry, keep us hot, keep us at the path of most resistance, not the path of to where if we squeak out at the end and win the division, obviously that's gonna give us a lot to brag about in the regular season. But I don't think that's honestly best for us when I look at the pattern of what we've been, especially this year. What's your thoughts on that? Oh, we got some super chat. Let me take the super chat first. He said, "This is the game to establish who we are. Go Cowboys! Agree." Go ahead, OC.
Yeah, so I think it's a two-headed sword in that regard. I think that the Cowboys benefit from pressure. So I agree with you in that regard. I do think that if it allows you to get Tyler Biadasz and a more healthy LVE that you definitely going to need for the playoffs, it could benefit you. That's what I think. I think that, you know, obviously how it sits right now, if we don't win a division, we got Tampa Bay. You know, we got Tampa Bay, and the winner plays the Eagles. That's what we got. So to me, if we can win it and put the pressure on Philadelphia to have to get through Tampa Bay, that benefits us. But I agree with you in theory that we need to keep playing. But I think in some key positions like linebacker and like the offensive line, I think that extra week, man, I mean, dude, it could help us out a little bit. But again, you know, this is a hard question to answer, boss, because it all depends on how Mike McCarthy and that coaching staff would handle it off time. Are these guys getting 3 and 4 days off? Are they getting a day off and coming back, working out, getting in film, going through practices, scrimmaging? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you handle that as a coaching staff? Because to me, and you play ball, you know this is key. Like, if you're prepping for a bowl game, you know that how well you play in that bowl game is based upon how well your coach handles that off time and what he has the team doing.
And then, let's be honest. Can we be all the way honest, OC? Mike McCarthy's track record is bad. Remember, he was 15-1 with Green Bay?
Yeah.
He was 15-1 with Green Bay, ran up on a hot Giants, because the Giants was just like Tampa is right now, just like Green Bay is right now. Remember, the Giants had to beat us to get in. And we was hot. And Mike McCarthy at 15-1 ran up on those Giants and took an L.
Yeah.
So even if them guys need
rest, you bring up a great point.
Yeah, even when them guys need rest, I'd rather us be hot. Just be honest. You know, I'd rather us go on there kind of knuckling up and scraping versus rested and ready. Hold on real quick. We got 2 super chats. Em said, in all seriousness, considering we typically play down a competition, then I'm hoping for the most resistance. Right. See, that's real, bro. That's honestly how I feel
Yeah.
about it. And then, real quick, Coach Maul said, "OC, my concern is Tyron Smith's physicality in the run game that he has lost for years. What do you think?"
Yeah, Coach, you taking some of my thunder, man. I'm trying to save some of this content for later on this week, but that's okay. I'm gonna ask your question. Yeah, and I alluded to this. If you heard me closely, so you got to listen to the OC when I'm talking. You got, especially post game, you got to listen to me because I'm giving you all types of breadcrumbs and nuggets and stuff. I said, hey, and I said it nicely. Hey, we miss Steele. We miss Steele.
Yeah.
Right? And listen, Tyron has done a good job overall over there. So I'm not saying he's played bad or anything like that, but the physical dominance and the explosiveness off the football, it's very different. It's cover you up and make the block. It's not destroy you. And what Terrence Steele gave you was destroy you, throw you 6 and 7 yards down the field. That's what he gave you. Tyron Smith is giving you, I'm getting you a block, I'm getting a body on a body, I'm covering you up, and you got to make this cut running back. It's still a block. It's still a good block, by the way, right? It's still a good block, but it's not a back-breaking, I'm 24-year-old block. It's I'm 30-something-year-old block, and I'm still trying to get my stuff together. And so, I think that Tyron Smith will be fine. I think that where we have to work angles is in terms of really looking cutbacks, right? We got to look at cutbacks because you got more youth with Tyler Smith on the left side of that line. I think that front side running right side is not as strong as it was when you had Terrence Steele there. All right. So that's my honest answer about that. Although I think that Tyron Smith, he's doing a solid job, but is he as dominant in the run game as a Terrence Steele? No, not at all.
Yeah, man. And that's a big loss, obviously. Losing Steele, we did lose some push on that right side. We did.
Massive push.
Yeah, my thing is, OC, what would you, maybe this might be digging into some content you would go break out. I don't know if you was planning on talking about this.
No.
But the question that I have is with Tyler Biadasz, right? What would you envision on this front? What would be, and we're going to talk about this more in depth tomorrow with the final word when we have Law and Big Game James, but just as initial thinking, like who would be the offensive line and contingency plan offensive line preparing for the Commanders?
Contingency plan if somebody got hurt that's not already hurt is what you're asking?
Yeah, the fact that Tyler is already pretty much hurt. Right, we know we're not gonna see Tyler.
Yes.
It's a game one at best. So we saw some musical chairs instantly once he went down. So they already had an in-game contingency plan. But oh man, Amp, don't do that, bro. Amp put a break. No, my God, I we read that. But yeah, man, Amp, you threw me all the way off with that, bro. But man, basically, yeah, what would be your thoughts on a long-term plan and a week plan to prepare for the Washington Commanders?
Yeah, so if you're talking about, let me fix my camera here a little bit. If you're talking about a contingency plan because you already have Tyler Biadasz out, then, what you have, in my opinion, what should happen, I would love to see Tyler Smith at left tackle. I don't think they're going to do that. I would love to see Jason Peters at left guard. You got Connor McGovern at center. I'm fine with that. You got Zach at right, and then you got Tyron Smith at right tackle. Now, if anything happens, as an example, to one of the tackles, right, to Jason Peters, right, who's going to start there, or you're going to have, Tyron Smith, I think that this is where, and I'm scared of this. I don't want to see this happen. But they should play Avante Collins.
Yep.
But they're not. They should. I'm saying what they should do, then I'm going to tell you what they are going to do. They should put Avante Collins at that right tackle. Because he's better, he's more mature, he's better than Josh Ball. But what they are going to do is probably put Josh Ball there. Now, if they smart and they've been listening to the OC and following Boss Cowboy Sports like they should be doing, by the way, They go put Avante Collins and have Avante Collins ready to rock if anything happened, because he can play right tackle or guard actually. But if they don't and they being foolish, they're gonna put Josh Ball out there, and then you're gonna see them running a lot of 21 personnel, 2 tight ends, so that they can help Josh Ball in pass protection. And that's gonna have us in a lot of play action pass, and it's gonna limit the down the field routes unless Dak is rolling to his left. That's what's gonna end up happening.
Yeah, bro. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest, OC. That need to be his own video. Just to be all the way honest. That need to be, because see, most people not even thinking about that. That this is a game that if you really trying to get prepared for the playoffs, you know, especially if you go out there and you keep, let's say, Jason Peters at right tackle, like that's what they actually did do when Tyler went down. They moved, you know, Peters to right tackle. Matter of fact, where did Peters play when Tyler went down? What was Peters played left. They moved Tyler Smith to left guard and Jason Peters to left tackle, which I don't agree with. Which I don't think they should have done that. Right. They should have moved him to guard. Right. So they
move his buddy guard, dude.
Yeah. So
right.
But with the right tackle position, because see, I've heard people talk about potentially even for this week, just for this week, potentially having Tyron Smith play left tackle. Cause see, we getting ready to go against some real pass rushers, man. We getting ready to go with some real pass rushers. This ain't the time to be risking Dak, in my opinion. This ain't the time.
It ain't, man. But it ain't, bro. But man,
they gotta find a way to give this dude. They gotta find a way to give Collins some reps this game. This game, bro.
You gonna make me say stuff, and I don't even want to say it. You gonna make me say it, but I'm gonna say it.
Say it.
I gotta tell the truth. I gotta say the truth to the people, man. I gotta tell the truth to the people.
Another one.
Look, I'm concerned if you put Tyron Smith back at left right now. I'm concerned, man, because his get off, bro, is not what it was.
Right. And
I still think he's recovering from that hamstring. I'm not saying he ain't gonna ever get it back. Either he's still recovering. Sometimes you're good enough to play. I'm saying this as a guy that's been injured, all right? And that's had like a lower leg injury and that's played with like a knee injury, a torn meniscus for 10 games. Like, you can be good enough to play, but not at your best.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So if he go face Chase Young, and he almost gave up 2 sacks against my guy from Philly, all right? Yep. He gave up 1. Dude, it was quickness and change of direction, bro. It was get off.
Right.
It was get off. And he's a great player. But, man, it was get off, man. And that get off and that change of direction and putting your inside of your foot, the inside third of your foot in the ground and moving it quick, left and right, it wasn't all the way there. So I think that he's going to be susceptible to a real good speed rushing hands if you put him over there right now. Whereas you had Tyler Smith over there dealing with that. Yes, he's had struggle. Yes, he's given up sacks. Yes, all that stuff. But you're better off with the guy that's had more reps covering the wide edges for the playoffs. You might as well rock with what you got, is what I'm trying to say. So they could do that. But he hasn't had the game reps over there. And you go do that right before the playoffs, I just don't agree with it. Now, if you had to play Jason Peters at right tackle and you say you want to do that, okay, whatever, right? But I still think he's better from a guard perspective. I do. Now, here's another contingency since you brought this up, because this is getting more interesting as we go.
Right.
You know, if you had an injury to Tyron Smith, then you probably have Peters go to right tackle. You bump Tyler Smith out to left tackle, and then you bring in your sub guard, which would probably be, or should be, I'm thinking, Avante freaking Collins. You put him right over there at left guard. That's what I think. So I think they have to, boss. If they not, they're going crazy. They have to have Avante Collins in play as a contingency going to either one of those, either the left, the right tackle, or either guard if something weird happened.
Man.
They have to.
Then we got a super chat. He said, "Boss, where is Matt Farniak for inside backup? I think he on IR. I think he got injured.
Yeah, I don't think he's available.
Yeah, I don't think he back
I don't
yet.
think he's available.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
don't think he's available.
this is why, boys. I'm be honest, man, because most people I ain't hearing too many people talk about this. Like being honest, most people not talking about the matchups. Oh, see, I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real, bro. The matchups looking real right now. Is like this is gonna be a good game to get a good dub off. I don't care if it's an ugly dub. I don't care.
Yeah, and I'm gonna break down, and this is what I was gonna do. I was gonna do that later this week, and I still might, but I'm gonna give you guys a couple tidbits, all right, for the show's sake. But y'all need to put some money in that super chat, man, because I'm giving y'all a lot of sauce, man, for real. So look, here's the thing. This is how you deal with guys that are extremely strong at the point of attack. Movement and traps. You got to try to trap these guys. You can't just like line up and say, I'm going to take you on head on all game, because all they go do is pop you with their hand, shed you, and be in the backfield. You got to make these guys think. You got to make these guys run left and right. So a good strategy would be traps. Another good strategy would be the zone toss play. Make the linebackers have to make plays. Don't put it in the interior defensive lineman's way to make plays all the time. You got to make those linebackers run and have to make plays. Run, toss, sweep. Run pitches. Run things where those guys got to run left and right, left and right, left and right, in order to get those guys a little gas and to create angles where the running back can get cuts. All right. Last thing. This is the type of game that,
because they were setting that edge real good last game, and that was without Chase.
That was without Chase, but this is what you do. Coach Marv watching this show, so this is for you, Coach Marv. Bring in Noah Brown and have him chip the end. Since you like Noah Brown so much in the run game, bring in Noah Brown tight and don't put T.Y. there. Have him chip to create an edge. It doesn't matter if you have 10-yard gains. When we did that versus in the last game, we had 4, 5, 6-yard gains. That's all we're looking for. We don't have to break them. We just got to use it as kind of like a body shot. It's like a boxer. It's a good body shot, right? You put money in the bank for later, and it's going to pay dividends later. But what you not going to do versus these Washington Commanders is line up and just run the football down their throat and think that you finna to like make it happen. It's like, bro, that ain't going to work. You got to do something different.
Hey, real quick, and my boss said jet sweeps too. And remember, we talked about the last time we played Washington. They wasn't doing jet sweeps. They wasn't doing toss. They didn't run hardly any traps. I think they ran it once. I think they ran one trap because we broke that whole tape down. And that's to me when Kellen Moore was being very stubborn in his alleged commitment to the run, because that was the game he came out and said to me, which came across passive aggressive, I wanted to throw the ball all day. It was after the Washington game. It was after that game, and to me his play calling was just. But hey man, I appreciate y'all feedback like this, because you did help me fix this. He said, I don't know if you have individual control of guest volumes. Yeah, so I lowered the OC's volume. Now he should match my volume. So I appreciate that. But that helps me actually run a better show when y'all give feedback like that. But yeah, man, just real quick, man. So we pretty much handled all of it, man. It's not that long, man. Let's take a call real quick. We go open up the phone lines. Let's take a call. And it's freestyle, so we can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. All right, so we got the phone lines open. So y'all call on in. If y'all don't call on in, we gonna give our final words and get up out of here. But we got a lot of content. Tomorrow will be our last competition Tuesday. It's the final one of the whole week. obviously it's not going to be a normal competition Tuesday, because really at this point it's not about competition. It's about getting your last chess pieces together, preparing them for war. It's no more competition at this point. We have to be very decisive on decisions that need to be made. That's really. But we go talk about some competition things that appear from the last game and then going up into this final game. But if anybody think I'm gonna be calling for different people to start in this and that, nah, that's over with. At this point, it's about settling in. But while we waiting on a call, bro, nobody called in yet, man. Let's go ahead and give our final words. I'll start with mine. So I know, especially when you look at the video that the OC just came out with. I don't know if y'all checked it out yet. But the Eagles choke set up the Dallas Cowboys for the best close of the season. When you marry that thought, hold on. It said we got 3 more likes to get to 100. Hold on real quick. It's way too many people in here just to have 100 likes. Like, let's get the likes up, y'all. Yeah, we want to get the likes up everywhere too. YouTube as well as Facebook. Man, we appreciate y'all hitting that like button, and everywhere that y'all watching, we really appreciate that greatly. So before anything, man, y'all make sure y'all hit that like and that subscribe to all the channels. But going back to what I was saying, so the OC did a real good video about the Eagles choke set up the Dallas Cowboys for the best closeout. So when you marry that thought with what we talking about today, it's to where we have to now go out and give Washington that full business. This is not gonna be a load management game. We ain't gonna be sitting a whole bunch of people. We have to now try to go out there and win the division. But this is the thing: if we beat Washington and if Philly win, we still win. That's the big thing I want to communicate. If we win and Philly win, we still win, because we was forced to do what's best for our future, and let's play hot, hungry, going into the playoffs hot and hungry. So on us, as my final word, we got to worry about Washington. We got to go in there to win that game. Like, maybe peak over at Philly, but not now. Our main person that we got to attack, and it's not gonna be easy in my opinion, it's gonna be Washington. And if we do that and we go into the playoffs hot, I want us to accept the road of the most resistance and be happy for it, because that's actually where we're at our best. So if we gotta play Brady first, yes, cool, I want that. If we gotta play a hot Aaron, yes, I want the most resistance, because the Dallas Cowboys this whole year have proved that they play down the competition. But when they going against a team, and I'm at OC, low key, I'm a little bit happy Green Bay beat us if we face them again. I'm happy now, because now we get to go in like with respect. We go in, we don't take them for granted like we might have done the first time because the record was poor. Now we get to go in there like, yeah, we owe you boys a lot, and we get to get that monkey off our back, man. What's your final words?
Yeah, man, I think that the Cowboys are, again, in prime striking position. And don't be surprised if the Eagles lay another egg and lose this game, man. I'm going to tell y'all that off the top rope. Don't be surprised. But the Cowboys need to be sharp. The Cowboys need to take care of their business. And if the Cowboys take care of their business and they come out here and play with some attitude and just play sound, man, everybody do your job. Right? Everybody do your job. We're not taking no vacay. We're not worried about nothing else. We're thinking about getting from this game to the next game to the next game to the next game until we're in the Super Bowl and then win that game. Like that's the momentum. And if the coaching staff of the Cowboys are smart, you know what they should start to do, Boss Cowboy? They should start to paint a us against the world type of scenario. They should start to dangle that narrative. Oh, they don't think we go do it. They think we go choke. Oh, no, we got cheated. We should have won the division, especially when they beat the Washington Commanders. They didn't win it, and they ended up with, oh, they cheated us. We should have won. We owe them. You got to start to create that narrative. You got to start to do anything you can to have a mental edge, because really, man, everybody out there, man, can play. This is, man, about probably, man, 90% mental, man. 90% mental. It's mental. It's creating that mental edge, creating that little piece of motivation that's going to have you just a little bit more locked in, just a little bit more angry than you would have been if you did not have that opposition against you. So I like it, man. I think the Cowboys got to show up every single week to advance in the playoffs. And because of that, look for the Cowboys to go deep into the playoffs. That's my final word.
Yeah, I'm thinking we go deep this year, man. It's setting up for us to go deep. And I think Coach Marv right, man. Win that first game and the world is ours.
Yeah, I think that, man, at the end of the day, man.
Something going on with Hamlin, one of the players. They said they was doing CPR
really?
on him for, prayers up to Hamlin. I'm
man.
not even watching the game, but I've been looking at the chat, man. There's a player out there, man, having CPR for 9 minutes is super scary. So,
oh man, God bless
prayers
you, man.
up, prayers up, man. Real talk. But
man.
Go ahead, OC.
No, man, that's all I was gonna say, man. Listen, follow us for a lot more content surrounding these topics and more all week long. Keep it tuned in. SLC, subscribe, like, don't forget to comment. Let us know how we doing and what you think about the content. And then thank you so much for you guys that put money into the Cash App, $ Boss Cowboy Sports, man. That really goes a long way to support the channel and just help us to keep on pushing more content. Thank you guys for the super chats. Follow us on follow us at Boss Cowboy Sports on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, obviously YouTube. You can follow me, the OC100, on Twitter. And until next time, guys, we'll see you.
Boss Cowboy Sports, where your voice matters. Boss Cowboy Sports.